Going live. Okay. There we go. That's better lighting. So, hi, everybody. As you know, I've been doing these Let's Talk About Mental Illness videos. And had a request from someone who I told them I wouldn't reveal their name, but I did have somebody who requested and said things like, well, how do you talk to someone like you when you get amped up or triggered? And what do I do in situations like that, especially if I don't know the person or if I'm sort of shy myself? What do I do? And I thought, man, those are really great questions. But in order to really answer them, I got to have her to go along with it. So I asked Sarah to come on and maybe do a couple of shows with me, depending on how these go. We may do a couple more. You guys know I like to keep them at 20 minutes or less. So if we get done here talking and we feel like we've gotten all the answers out that we can give you, then great. But if you're on here watching live or come back later and comment as a subscriber, I will talk with Sarah and we can always come back again and do more. That's not a problem. I think it's really wonderful that I do have a spouse who's willing to not just help me, but help you as you're out here watching these. Maybe you deal with these situations. Maybe that you have somebody like me, not necessarily a spouse, but a brother, sister, cousin, whatever. Maybe Sarah can give you some insights from her side of the table. That's why I said on the other side in parentheses, because I think it's very important. I can't speak for her. And that's one of the things about this is I've been wanting to get her on to the show. And that's why it's been a bit between shows. I just wanted to make sure that she would be A+, number one, on board with it. And she is, and that's great. So, question, Sarah, how do you deal with a nut like me? No. I guess probably one of the best things that we can talk about, and I will tell you that this is definitely not something that happened for Sarah overnight. It's time that's taken in that. But when I do get 0 to 60, real quick tempered, when the little things that set me off and kick in the bipolar or the anxiety or the depression, what do you feel is the number one priority in those situations? Is it to calm me down? Is it to walk away? Is it to deflect? What goes through your mind, I guess, would be the best question.
Well, it depends on where we're at.
Okay.
And if we're in public, then the first thing is get you to calm down and get you out of there. One or the other, or sometimes both.
Okay.
If we're just at home, then it's just a matter of kind of trying to, I can take a little more time.
Okay.
And it may be a situation where I just need to walk away.
Okay.
And just let you be, wait for you to just kind of calm down on your own.
Uh-huh.
And it may be a situation where I need to address it right away. Remember that day that we were in the car, we were like, yay, we're going on date night. We were on our way up to Fisher's to go to Pinhead's.
Uh-huh.
And you were having a great day. And then you got a phone call, and you remember, so I won't go through everything, but you went from, yay, we're having a date night, to it's ruined. The whole night's ruined.
Uh-huh.
And it took me from being excited to the whole night's ruined because you have decided it's ruined.
Okay.
And in that situation, it was a matter of me being positive and reminding you that, you know what happened is not a big deal. It's fine.
Uh-huh.
And you have a choice to make. You're going to move on and allow us to have a good night, or are you going to stew?
Right.
And you decided to have a good night. And that was it.
Okay.
And so even when you go from 0 to 100 or whatever, you still have a choice in that.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be reminded of that.
So what makes you choose, like, for example, that night, what made you choose that path in that direction, whereas you could have just said, you know what, you're right, let's just go home, turn around, and came back home? What made you decide to pursue it from that direction?
Well, I think I was just angry, actually. I would think I was angry because I was so, I was excited to have a good night. And then all of a sudden you're like, it's ruined. The whole night's ruined. And, you just went off. And my anger, I think, is what it was just like, darn it, you're not going to screw up this night.
Okay. So let's talk about the what accelerated me in that moment. We were in the car, we're driving. You said I got a phone call.
Yeah.
And what was the phone call?
Well, we were doing Airbnb and we had a guest, and he arrived later than he had told us he was going to arrive. So we were late leaving for our date night that we had planned on leaving for earlier. And because we were going to Pinheads, it was going to be
Stop plugging this place for free.
the 7 to 9.
Pinheads is a great place. We go there we at least go once a month. It's a nice date night on Friday nights and stuff that we do.
Well, they do music bingo from 7 to 9. Well, if we weren't going to get there in time to play, then that kind of would screw up a little bit of our plan.
Okay.
And so he arrived late. You took the key fob to show him the key and then to explain to him how to arm and disarm the alarm system.
Right.
But you didn't sit there and actually show him. You were just like, this arms, this disarms, and that was it.
Because to me, it's just pretty obvious. Disconnect, connect. I mean, when it says lock, that means it's locked. When you hit the one that's unlocked, that means it's unlocked and off. Sometimes though, simplicity, and I tell you guys this all the time, but I tell them all the time that is a lot of times it's with my brain and how I function.
Right.
It's well, this is so simple. I don't think I need to go in depth on it.
Yes, you're correct. But the whole thing was you breezed through it, and it's not like a car fob where you just click it and you're done. You have to actually hold
door locks.
You have to hold
door unlocks.
You have to hold the button down until you hear the beep. And you didn't do that with him. Right. And so he left. He came back. The alarm's going off. You get a call from the alarm company, which makes you upset. Well, then he calls, or you called him, one or the other, I don't know. And the alarm's going off in the background. Neither of you can hear either one. And both of you are upset because the alarm's going off and is really loud. And you're trying to explain to him, and he can't hear you, how to disarm the system. So finally he leaves the house and you're able to talk to him. And finally he got it. Finally.
Yeah.
And that just irritated you.
He wasn't a member of Mensa, I will tell you that. And she's absolutely right. And the reason why I'm having her go through this is, guys, I always talk about is when I do these by myself, and she watches them and she's listened to them and everything, but this is a new format-ish way to do this. And so it's sort of, I have to talk with you while talking with her, and she'll get the ease of it because she's good at it. She just doesn't know it yet. But the reason why I'm having her tell it is I want you to hear it from her side while I'm piping in so that you understand where my mind process is. But you see, you're getting it from her side.
And you can tell what a conversation's like with us.
Yes.
Almost every day.
Almost every day, yeah. But the thing is that for her, a big deal. It's just a guy that, I did, and you go back and you say, well, it was your fault. You didn't take enough time.
And I did tell him that.
She did, which made me madder. But that's not the point. The point is that I took this situation and thought, I've got an idiot staying at my house, And he's so dumb that we're going to have to go back there 2 and 3 times and the night's ruined. That was just my thought process because it got me so upset. When actuality, and she's absolutely right, I had a choice to make. I could either make this a positive or a negative experience. It was up to me. And it took probably less than a mile of driving.
Oh, it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
Once I said, you know what, enough. This is nothing. And it's your fault to begin with.
Yeah.
But we are going to have a good night. So
Yeah.
are you ready to have a good night?
And then we went and had a good, we had a good time there and everything, and came home and all that stuff. And that's where I go back to, like I said, that's just one incident. Okay. That it actually happened, 2 months ago now? It's been a while. But then let's take something more recent. Yesterday, I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was not feeling good. I've not been feeling good physically. Been doing pretty okay mentally for the most part, but not feeling good physically yesterday. And we have a new, I can't contact her at work other than through her cell phone, where it used to be I could call her up on her work phone and talk to her for a minute and then I'd be fine. Well, I can't do that now, so I've had to adjust. Well, yesterday I called her cell phone, left a message via text. Did I leave a voicemail?
I never even got a missed call.
She got a message. She never even got a missed call. So if I did leave a voicemail, it's up there in the Ethernet anyway. But I did leave her a text message and just said, I really need to talk to you. And I was just feeling so physically horrible. But when I get that way, I also feel like I don't want her to come home and see the house is a complete mess, the kitchen's in shambles, and make her feel like, oh, great, I worked all day, now I got to do all this too. That bothers me. Well, in us going through that, she then contacted me about, I don't know.
It was late. I did
6:15. She gets off at 5. Usually by 5:15, if she hasn't called me, I know she's going to be staying later. And it was probably 6.
No, it was just after 5 when I called you, but you were asleep.
Yeah, I had fallen asleep on the couch.
And I didn't, at that time, I don't know that I even really looked at my phone because I didn't see that I had any texts.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was actually leaving work, and it was after 7.
Yes.
That I actually looked at my phone. I was like, 8 text messages. Now, only one was from him.
Yeah.
The rest was just spam. But that's when I saw that you had texted me at like 3:30, and I was like, ooh. But I have my ringer down so low that I usually can't even hear it.
So basically what happened was I was not feeling good. When she's right, when she called, I was asleep, groggy out of it. And she just said, I'll get home when I get home. Well, eventually I started getting hungry, but I didn't want to eat without her. So I'm like holding off making dinner and that, but I just couldn't hold off anymore. And then I was getting more and more upset because it was like, you work till 5 and we're starting to get 2 and 3 hours past. To me, that's just, it can be dealt with tomorrow, but with her, she can't do that with the way that her job functions. And I try to understand that. I try to be understanding. But with me not feeling well, didn't help.
And when he's not feeling well physically, it absolutely affects his mental status.
Yes. And so then what happened from that was when she did call, I was amped up already because she's not home. I'm hungry. I've not been feeling good all day. I really, to be honest with you, I was just amped.
He let me have it.
And so I just started in, and the one thing she did was yesterday, which again, this is some stuff that goes on. This is just one of the ways, and I'm telling you that from my side. She just let me ramble, in a sense. She just let me go and be irate. Now, was I physically abusive, mentally abusive, verbally abusive?
No.
I just rambled.
Yeah, I mean,
ranted. That's a better word.
Felt like I was being yelled at, but
right.
over the phone.
But
yeah, you basically just ranted about a whole bunch of stuff. And
okay, so then, how did that make you feel at that moment?
Well, I felt a couple different things. I was kind of upset because here you were yelling at me. So I was upset by that, but I was also I was disappointed in myself for not having seen your text
Okay.
and not calling you earlier. And then I felt I just had it and it left me. Kind of hurt, not like you were inflicting any kind of emotional pain on me, but like I had failed you.
Okay.
That's kind of how I felt. And just not knowing that this entire day, it had been 12 hours since we'd seen each other basically, or spoken. And that I didn't know that for that entire 12 hours that you were feeling as poorly as you were with being lightheaded and all of that. And it just, made me concerned, and it made me feel like I failed you.
Okay. So would you say that, like, okay, so that happened. Would you say then that you ever felt like when you got home you were going to get more wrath, or did you feel like everything was resolved before you hung up the phone and came home, or did you feel like when you got home there was tension in the house or anything like that?
I definitely felt tension in the house, but we didn't talk on the phone. You ranted, and then I basically just told you, I was going to go get drinks and from the gas station, and then I was going to be home. And
you shouldn't be drinking in a gas station.
It was pop.
Oh, soda.
Pop.
Soda pop. Coca-Cola, right? Again, we're plugging product here. We shouldn't be doing that.
Well, I was drinking Pepsi, though.
Yeah. We definitely shouldn't be plugging that product. So I guess what I'm saying to you guys is that I think this is just a small snippet of life in the Clark household. And I do think that we definitely will do more of these because I'm sure we didn't even scratch the surface of a question. I just thought that it would be interesting to have her on here to maybe hear a little bit from, like I said, from the other side and there to answer one of the bigger questions. I guess a lot of times is, what does she do on a daily basis? I'll tell you the biggest thing she does. She goes to work and she comes home. She doesn't have to do either. And she does that. And she does it because she does love me. She does care. And I don't appreciate don't even start. I'm going to pay her $20 when we get off. But she does. And the thing is I can tell you that for someone who feels unlovable, to be loved, it is it's a wonderful feeling. And I can tell you that there are days and times where I know that I'm hard to deal with, period. So it is really nice. And I think I always try to end the day with, I love you. Like when she comes home at night, I always tell her I can't start my evening until I get a kiss. And just little things. And she
and those things make me feel special.
Yeah. Like you is special. I was being nice. So I guess that's one of the biggest things is that I know that she loves me, and I think she understands that I love her, and so she is definitely the right person to help me through things, and that so when you get that is a huge help. But as we finish up the video here, I just want you to know, I think that we will come back and try to do more for you, answering questions from the other side. Do me a favor, like and share, subscribe, and ask questions either on the Facebook page or down below here. ask questions, put up comments, anything. We love to get the feedback. We love to hear from you. So thanks for hanging out with us for about 20 minutes. And you guys have a great day. And I thank Sarah for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.